Today I am going to try and attempt to make gluten-free sticky date pudding, and I'm going to be trying to make it with coconut flour instead of normal flour, so wish me luck. For this recipe, you're going to need 1 cup of boiling water and 1 cup, more or less, 1 cup of chopped pitted dates. You are going to need to have a teaspoon of baking powder, and you are going to be using a total of 4 teaspoons of this vanilla extract. 2 is going to be going into the cake part and the other 2 is going to go into the sauce. You're going to need a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, 3/4 of a cup of coconut flour, and you are going to have 1/2 cup of butter or margarine for the cake part, and then you're going to need another 1/2 cup of margarine or butter for the sauce part. You're going to need 1/4 cup of brown sugar for the cake part and 1 cup of this brown sugar for the sauce part. And then in here I've got some white sugar, and you're going to have half a cup of this for your cake part. You're going to be using 4 large eggs. It's very important with coconut flour to use extra eggs so that it can bind everything together, because the coconut flour tends to be a little bit dry. And yeah, so that's the start. And you're also going to need 1/2 cup of thick cream, which is still in the fridge. That goes for the sauce. So to start off, you are going to take your boiling water, your dates, and your 1 teaspoon of bicarb, and you are going to put that in your bowl and let it soak there for about 5 minutes. You will see the dates have softened a bit, and now you're going to take your stick blender and you're going to zhuzh a little bit. If you're lucky enough to have a food processor, I don't have one, you can use that instead. So after zhuzhing it around a bit, you are going to add in your 1/2 cup of butter and your 1/2 cup of white sugar and your 1/4 cup of brown sugar. There's the butter. Now for the sugar. White sugar going in, 1/4 cup of brown sugar going in. Now my next step is going to be to mix this all together with my mixer. I've put a little cover on so it doesn't go everywhere. I tell you, this hand like stick blender that's got the mixing attachment is one of my favorite kitchen utensils, or gadgets, or appliances, whatever you want to call it. I have my oven preheating on 180 degrees Celsius. I'm now going to add my 3/4 cup of coconut flour. And to that I'm also going to be adding in 1 teaspoon of baking powder, the 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and the 4 eggs. Flour has just been mixed in. I've just added in the vanilla extract. I'm going to mix this in. I've now gone into using my wooden spoon. I'm now going to add in the 4 eggs. I have to say, so far the mixture is looking quite good. I don't know what I was expecting with coconut flour, but the actual mixture is looking better than I thought. So instead of putting this into 1 large oven-proof baking dish, I've decided I'm going to make them in separate little, like in a muffin pan, so like little separate ramekins. And here they are ready to go into the oven, 180 degrees, where they're going to go in for 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how strong your oven is. And I always put my silicone muffin pan on a baking sheet so that it's easier to get in and out, otherwise it's a bit floppy. In the oven, so we're just going to hold thumbs and wait 20 minutes and check on them. So while you still have 5 minutes to go with your the actual little puddings that you're cooking, you're going to put half a cup of butter in a small pot. To that you are going to be adding in half a cup of brown sugar, half a cup of thick cream, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and you're just going to melt that all together and create this amazing caramel butterscotch sauce. So you're going to melt your sauce mixture all together on the stove, and when it's all melted, I'm going to show you what you'll be doing next. I've just taken them out of the oven, and it looks like they've bound together, which is what I was just a little bit afraid of with the coconut flour. So far so good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a fork and I'm actually going to stab them with the fork. Imagine your worst enemy. So I'm just stabbing it just a little bit with the fork. And because what we're going to do now, I must say it's looking lovely and moist. What we're going to be doing now is we are going to be pouring our sauce, just a little bit, not all the sauce, but just a little bit of the sauce we are going to be pouring on top. My sauce is nearly boiling away over here. Right, so we're going to just put like a spoonful of this lovely sauce that we've made on the top. And then because we've made these holes and these little sticky date puddings are still warm, it's going to absorb that sauce, which is going to make it extra moist and extra delicious. So they're all done. I'm going to leave these to soak in that sauce. The rest of the sauce you are going to leave to put on them when you serve them. And you can serve it with custard or with ice cream or cream. It's up to you. So what do you think of this sticky date pudding using coconut flour?
I think it's really, really, really good. It's better than most of the gluten-free stuff that I've eaten. And you say you don't even have to worry about the 1 to 1.4 ratio of coconut flour. It's really good. It's very flavorful.
Yeah, no, it's excellent. Well, I created this recipe because I couldn't find something doing sticky date pudding using coconut flour. And I'm just thinking, like a lot of places around the world, especially those heading towards winter now in the southern hemisphere, you wanting to have a nice hot warm pudding for dessert, and you've got a child in your house that is gluten intolerant.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking
this is a really good option. Really, really good.
So this sticky date pudding or sticky toffee pudding, whichever you want to call it, was a huge success using the coconut flour. If you're wanting to make this a keto recipe, then all you got to do is just replace the sugar with the artificial sugar equivalent. I'm not too knowledgeable about what happens with the keto and what sugar equivalent you use, but that's all you got to do. it works well with the coconut flour. So a huge thumbs up. So if you would like to subscribe to my channel, like the video, comment below, that would all be fantastic. And I make a couple of videos each week. It's always about, well, basically it covers three things. It could be about some of my travels, because I used to travel quite a bit. It could be a recipe like this one, or it could be about my journey to finding a farm in Portugal. So it's a bit of a variety, but there is a common thread, I think. I'm not too sure what it is, but it'll come to me eventually. So subscribe to this channel and I'll see you on my next adventure.